back. Our guest is Eddie Reese, who's director of the Oxley Nature Center. Eddie, good to have you here, my friend.
Hello. Good. Thanks for having me.
Little bit of the history of the Oxley Nature Center. When did it come into being?
In the 70s, there was a couple of guys taking a hike in the park and thought, wouldn't it be great if we had a nature center in Tulsa? And they started this process and got with the Audubon Society and did a study and put this together. And some other people got involved. Oxley, John T. Oxley, and who was an oilman in Tulsa, and he and his wife donated a great deal of money and to help get it going. Started the visitor center, and that's why it's named Oxley Nature Center. Mary Kay Oxley Nature Center.
Was it a park before it was a nature center?
Yes, Mohawk Park has been around since 1925. It was acquired from some oilmen. Skelly, for example, had some land out in there and had done some oil exploration and was done with it and needed to disperse with it. So the city got a really good deal on it and bought this city park, had these grand plans for the park. And it's a very large park. It's like over 3,000 acres now. One of the top 10 in the country in size. It's mostly bottomland, floodplain along Bird Creek, borders Lake Yohola over there on the west side. There's a lot in that park. There's a 36-hole golf course. There's the Tulsa Zoo. There's the Nature Center, which is 804 acres, and an internationally known disc golf course is in there now, 36-hole, a polo field, and so there's just a lot going on in that park. And of course, there's the Air and Space Museum just right across the street from the park. Sure. So it's kind of a destination place.
So is the airport, I might add.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you folks, I know there are folks out there that you're like me, you're like at my age, you want to just go somewhere close to fish. I might recommend Yohola, pretty good crappie fishing.
There's a lot of people use that park and that lake for fishing. I've seen some really big fish pulled out of some of those creeks and lakes around there.
We used to call it Heart Attack Ridge because some of them that came out of there, you'd go, oh Lord, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But I've seen that happen to folks when they get some really nice fish.
And there's more than just fish. People come and do a lot of wildlife watching at the Nature Center.
Photography.
You go on our Facebook page, Oxley Nature Center on the Facebook, and these photographers take some super pictures. There's lots of deer, bobcat, eagles, pelicans, coyotes, and it's amazing the variety of wildlife right here in this Tulsa city limits in this park.
And there are also, I might add, there are areas that you can fish.
Right.
Right there, right across from Yohola, Lake Yohola, there's an entrance to the park. You can go in there, and I might add, the crappie fishing's pretty fine, having seen that firsthand.
Yeah. I've never tried it myself, but I've seen people pull some fish out of there.
Yeah. Pretty nice area. We've got some pictures that Emily Spivey, our director, and her husband took. We're going to share those with you. What are we seeing here?
That is the visitor center, and outside the bird watching area, the Canada geese like to hang out there. And I'm not sure what she has up here, but that's our Dutchman's pipevine caterpillars and a soldier beetle, very iridescent, green, real beautiful thing. And there's an old fish hatchery, and this is what this is, I believe, that was started in the 40s, and they developed fisheries techniques there that they are still used today all around the country.
No kidding.
And developed right there in this park. And it's all closed now, it's all woods, and the only thing you see left of it is the square fish ponds and some of the concrete water gates that come through.
Did you know that Oklahoma was a pond state in World War I?
A pond?
A cone pond state?
No.
They'd come in and build ponds on your property and stock it. In the event the war went south and we had to feed ourselves with things other than beef. I'm sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
Well, that's okay. Some of the waterfowl, the great egrets, white egrets, there are pelicans you see during certain times of the season, different kinds of water ducks and all sorts of things.
Kind of place you want to take your time.
Yeah, you know, our mission statement is inspire the wonder. And with the urban areas growing, kids living in the urban areas never get outside and climb a tree or see a deer track, catch a frog, splash in the mud. climb a tree. So we probably between about 1,500 average, I'd say, kids that we bring out in the spring and fall and give them guided tours. We're going through volunteer training right now, training new volunteers and returning volunteers, and they help us take the kids. We put them in small groups and get them out in the woods, get them out on the trails, and their behavior just changes. Some of them are afraid of the woods and never been in the woods before, and they won't get off the trail. And boy, the time we're done with them, we can't keep them on the trail. And
what are the trails like? Are they wooden trails? Are they rock? What are we dealing with here?
Well, we're mostly grass and dirt, and today it's mostly mud, but it dries up pretty quick. They're about there's between 9 and 10 miles of trails in the nature center, and they're all mostly flat. A lot of them are wheelchair accessible, stroller accessible. There's a few places kind of rough, but we're working on those, make them better. They interlock like a spider web that move out through the woods, so you can go as little as 1/3 of a mile, or you can walk a long, long ways.
Golly. I'm going to have to get with Emily's husband because they're both very talented people. And I'm seeing some really nice shots here. I need to learn from them, learn more. Good gracious, some beautiful pictures.
Yeah.
You have a lot of photographers come through?
Lots. Some of them pretty regular, and they take some. They'll post them on Facebook or somewhere, and I'll look at them and go, good grief, that's out there, you know.
Yeah. That's really nice. When you mentioned to me earlier that it's open for regular visitation, folks can just drop in unannounced and make the tour. What are your hours?
Yeah, the park, Mohawk Park, is open from 7 to 9 all year long. The Nature Center parking lot is open from 7 to 5. The Visitor Center is open 7 days a week. Monday through Saturday it's 10 to 4:30, and Sunday it's 12 to 4:30. You can hike the trails after 5, but you got to park outside the gate. We have a trailhead where you can hike in on. And
Would you do me a
fee.
favor? Do me a favor. I hate to interrupt you, but I can't let this opportunity slip by. Would you tell the story, since we've already established some oil folk were responsible for the acquisition of land and all that, helping to make it available and all. Would you tell the story about the bubbles the guys saw coming up?
Yeah,
and
sure.
Let's go back to when that happened.
Yeah, that was probably late 2010 or so. And there were a couple of park department plumbers were checking on a bathroom. And one of them, it had rained a lot like it has recently, soil saturated, and they're seeing bubbles come up in one spot near that bathroom. So they go over there, and one of the plumbers takes out his lighter, starts it, the bubbles catch on fire. Oh, we got a natural gas leak here. We'll come to find out it's an old plugged oil well, and they had an organization that comes in, I forget the name of it, I apologize, but they dug it up and found an oak sapling about 10 feet long. They didn't find oil, so they just plugged it with an oak sapling, called it, covered up, and called it good. And dates back to 1919. That's kind of how you did things back then in some places. So the natural, didn't find oil, but there's a little bit natural gas, and it was bubbling out of the ground. So they had to come in and officially and permanently plug the thing.
Did you save the sapling?
I never got, yeah, that'd been cool. I never got to see it.
You know, there are places all over Tulsa. Folks don't realize we have a lot of wells that they had to come in and permanently seal them over time. But even in the heart of town.
Yeah, there's probably wells out there we don't know about still.
Really?
I imagine.
What's the most unusual thing you've seen out there?
I saw a wood stork one time, and wood storks are not supposed to be here. They're mostly coastal critters, and it's over at the Blackbird Marsh. It was just a neat thing to see, a wood stork. And I've seen different kind of birds. The roseate spoonbill over there one time flew off course, and he was there for a while. One time we was over at the marsh and saw 2 caiman in the water.
Really?
Yeah, little crocodile-looking critters about like that. And somebody apparently had them and disposed of them. So they were there for the partial part of the summer, and we had a big flood. This was about 94. Had a big flood. The whole park flooded. There were 5 feet of water in the parking lot, and they washed downstream. No telling where they ended up.
So somewhere on some farmland downstream.
Somewhere.
There are a couple that came, and
Well, if they survive the winter.
if they came through it, we'll know where they came from.
Yeah, somebody will spot them. Yeah, that's right.
Eddie, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to come out there myself. I'm going to see them go through the center. I haven't seen the center,
Yeah.
and it's my fault.
Well, we had it redone in 1990 or 2008. It's all new exhibits, and it's really cool. Look me up. I'll take you for a walk.
You got a deal. Hey, thanks, my friend.
You're welcome.
We're all out of time. Thank you for being a part of it, and we'll see you next time.